Hey, welcome back to Backlog Banter. I'm Timo, your resident Cyberpunk expert. Today we're taking a look at Night City Wire Episode 5. I think it's the last one before the game comes out in about a month, a little under a month, after their most recent delay. We'll see if it comes out. I think it will. I haven't seen this before. I was stuck in class while it was airing live, so I'm watching it a little bit after. Let's just check it out and see what the folks over at CD Projekt have got for us this time.
You don't believe in no fate. Every day digging the grave. Stepping up to what it takes. City of dreams, city of...
Well, that cinematic trailer is really awesome looking. It's just really beautiful.
Hello and welcome to Night City Wire Episode 5, the show from us at CD Projekt Red, where we talk about all things Cyberpunk 2077. Now we're going to start today's episode with a new trailer that will take a closer look at Johnny Silverhand, before we go behind the scenes with Keanu Reeves and have a chat to English adaptation director Boris, who will tell us exactly what it was like to work with him. Then we'll be exploring the original score and talking about some of the radio stations you might listen to while driving
this is
around
something
Red
that I'm
City.
kind of excited
Before
for
we take a
because you
look at
can...
the Jolly technology,
Should look
which
pretty
is
cool.
powering
So
facial
I've actually watched a lot about
animation
this
in
Jolly
Cyberpunk
stuff. I watched the
and
entire
unveil
presentation.
a new My Reward scheme, which anyone can take part in, no matter which platform you'll be playing Cyberpunk on. We'll then
Witcher
wrap up
stuff.
today's episode with a brand new gameplay trailer. It's
So two
a
gameplay
busy
trailers.
episode, and it will be our final episode of Night City
I was
Wire
right, by
before
final.
the game launches on December 10th. So, let's get going.
Put a little light on the subject. Okay, so we got what? Keanu Reeves, cool. He's cool. Some soundtrack stuff. That's awesome. I really like to see that.
Where'd you even come from? How are we even talking? Gotta get out of here, understand? And I'll kill anyone who gets in my way.
You weren't dreaming, V. Those were memories. You two are connected in a way I can't make head or tail of.
Who? Me and who, Vic?
Silverhand. Johnny Silverhand. Real talk of the town back in my day.
He died, like, forever ago.
You need to say there's an actual terrorist in my head. Right now.
He burned down half the city just to prove he was right. And burned the other half just for fun.
What do you want from me?
This looks really cool. I love the way like shimmers in and out.
Arasaka. I don't even know what that means. Do whatever it takes to stop him, defeat him, gut him.
He already tried to take over your body. You know, just for a little while.
Ooh, is that like...
Hear me, asshole? A bullet to the fucking brain. Get out! Just get the fuck out!
Whoa.
Tell me how to get rid of it.
Oh, he doesn't... So, he doesn't like...
You don't have much time left.
You're a dick, you know. And you're a cunt. We'll fit together after all.
That's funny. Quick rundown on the story of... Okay, well...
And other times we like to keep secrets, and it can be worth it for that big reveal. Pretty sure nobody was expecting to see Keanu Reeves on stage at E3 2019.
That was a long time
let's
ago.
go
Holy
behind the
schmoly.
scenes to see how Keanu Reeves brought rocker boy Johnny Silverhand to life. You could say it's breathtaking.
Snore.
2077, Johnny Silverhand. I've had the opportunity to do voiceover a few times. I'd worked on a cartoon. I had done some documentaries. I'd never done this much. You know you don't gotta speak out loud to talk to me. And I've processed some shit. Changed my mind. Don't want you dead anymore. You know, and got to play a character in so many kind of different ways because of different paths or threads or choices. So you almost get to play one moment, say you have a decision, would you take a bullet for it? With 3 different behavioral attitudes. So that was fun. You know, Johnny's either a dick or he's happy, or he's trying to convince.
Know why? Because you've always been a fucking pussy, Carrie.
So it's been fun, and that was kind of what I was...
Silverhand looks like a really interesting character now. We've not heard much about him,
you know, playing the
and he
same
seems
person
very
with
fun.
different
Seems a
versions.
fun dude to be around.
Motion capture, baby. Johnny Silverhand.
So one of the first elements that I was involved in with the game was motion capture. I've done a fair bit of motion capture. I did it with in the Matrix films. So to start
Classic.
doing motion capture for Johnny, it was all very familiar to me. The only difference, I think, technologically was how close they were going to real-time review. But creatively, it was very familiar in the sense of starting a library of gesture and the toolbox, let's say, for the animators to work with for the character.
That's cool.
So you get to see Johnny as the rock star. You know, you hear about his military
So it seems like
past,
you get to play some
you know,
flashbacks,
fighting for
it
his
seems like.
survival. So he's kind of got all of these things leading into the moment of this guy. It's really a kind of an interpretation, because I think there's a Johnny Silverhand in all of us. He's got a lot of energy. He's got a good sense of humor, if not a little dark at times. He's very passionate. He cares. You know, it's he's kind of naive, but he's also super experienced in life. He's got certainly an appetite for life.
No, you're wrong.
He wants to change the world, you know? He has a cause that he wants to fight against the corpocracy.
Come on. Don't tell me you're not interested.
He's kind of looking for a different kind of freedom.
Corps have long controlled our lives.
Nilfgaard!
And now they're after our souls.
At least I believed in something bigger.
At least I had a cause.
What CD Projekt Red has shared with me in the way that they talk about the game and what I've seen is that it's got a lot of freedom. There's so many different paths that you can play the game on. But it's not just quests of paths. It's like, who are you? How do you want to play the character?
If I gotta kill, I'll kill. If I need your body, I'll fucking take it.
You can go into action, you can go into mystery, you can problem solve in different ways. And where you go in this world, there's so much detail, there's so many different things that you can go off into that are...
I'm kind of just like mesmerized. This is really interesting.
fun.
I have so far...
Drama to the game and emotional stakes to it. And then there's lighter sides to it. And of course the music, production design, technologically, how cutting edge it is. I don't think there'll be a game that looks like this. Yeah, it's intense.
Whoa, that was some Ghost Runner looking stuff.
You get his side.
Bye-bye.
Yeah, I have not always been super happy with how Keanu Reeves shows up in their promo materials, but this one looks like really interesting.
Was him that you imagined as Johnny Silverhand? Was there anybody else that you ever considered having for the role?
Yeah, Holly, it was a long, arduous, extended process to imagine what Johnny Silverhand is supposed to look like, what he's supposed to sound like, what he's supposed to act like. Everybody and their great-grandmother seemed to have an idea. And the process actually involved a lot of people. The game director, character artists, writers, marketing staff. I could go on. You know, we cast a pretty broad...
I mean, it's great marketing to have Keanu in there, you know?
We considered enlisting actual rock stars, you know, band frontmen to play the role. At one point, we even toyed with the idea of taking and reviving a recently deceased, longtime luminary of the recording industry. Now, some might say that it was a pipe dream to assume that we could do that, technologically or otherwise. Well, I'll see you that pipe dream and raise you another, because one could easily say that it was a pipe dream to assume that we could successfully pitch to and ultimately enlist Keanu Reeves to play the role.
Now, I'm sure this is on everybody's mind right now, but what was it actually like to work with Keanu Reeves? Because even he said in the video, this was like nothing he'd ever done before.
A question that I'm sure anybody who gets to work with Keanu has to answer, and I get where it comes from. Keanu is a consummate professional. When he's he's at work. He's
an actor.
Completely and utterly focused. To that work, he brings his talent, he brings his art, his technical skill, and overwhelming charm. And yes, the scale and the complexity were and are dazzling. Non-linearity.
This guy's a very good speaker. They should have him on more.
Attitude, mood, emotion that are required to achieve them. They can be difficult to get your head around. And if you take all of Johnny Silverhand's bits, you know, his screen time, it's like doing the equivalent of many, many feature film roles put together. And we covered all that in a handful of mocap sessions and under 24 VO recording sessions of 4 to 6 hours each. And that took focus, it took control.
Yeah, they probably don't have the quite amount of the budget to keep Keanu Reeves hanging around forever.
The character of Johnny Silverhand and why he's important to the story, but also why it's important to have him played by like such a powerful personality.
It's a good question.
How do I do this without spoiling too much for gamers? In the broadest
gamers,
I'd say Johnny Silverhand is a co-protagonist of the game rather than a sidekick. I mean, there are buddy bits in the game, but in the end, Johnny has an agenda and he pursues it, and V has an agenda and has to pursue that. And to get things done, V and Johnny have to work together. Some of the things they do are V's, and some of the things they do are Johnny's. And
interesting.
Some of them are
this is totally new.
That
they haven't even talked about it at all.
Both characters. Both characters.
Yeah, because CD Projekt has never done like a true role-playing game where you play your own character until now, and so they still can't quite move away from it. But I think it works. Makes it an interesting story.
What you have to do is create that bond between them and the protagonist or protagonist. You have to make those characters understandable to them, likable to them, lovable to them. With that understanding, even when they do something not entirely admirable or say something reprehensible, you stay committed, you stay involved, you stay bonded to them. And there's no denying casting a powerful personality, somebody who exudes charm by the truckload, helps to further all that.
Keanu Reeves is very charismatic, I would say. He's really. I think it's a really good casting. It's pretty brilliant. I feel like there's a lot of fawning over Keanu Reeves in the internet land, but I think it works really well for this role as like a cast, as like an actor.
Keanu is Neo. John Wick is Keanu. Keanu is John Wick. John Constantine, Johnny Mnemonic, Jonathan Harker, Johnny Utah, they're all Keanu. And
all these Johnnies
will play Cyberpunk 2077. Johnny Silverhand will be Keanu. To my mind, at least, star power is a fact and an important factor for broad sections of the audience out there.
So, can you give us
star power helps the game reach more people.
Because we saw you in the video, you know, doing some of it, but really, how does it work?
I wish I could, Holly, but I'm really no mocap expert, and I can basically tell you what the day looked like, what the process looked like to me. To me, it was a fine day in LA, and I put.
They're working in Los Angeles.
Bodysuit with globules all over it, and put on the head cam, and then we proceeded to block and then play out scenes between V and Johnny. And we did it over and over and over again. As we did that, I must have poked Johnny in the chest hundreds of times, and I must have yelled "fuck off" at Johnny 35 times, you know. Well, I never expected to be doing any of that. No, I never imagined I'd be doing any of that.
This guy's a really good speaker. I really like him. I wish he was on more.
Your voice in the studio is quite iconic. So whenever I talk to you, I feel like I'm in a trailer. It's amazing.
It's not all that. It's not all that, Holly. Thank you.
Well, from Soviet-era synthesizers to body heat radio, it's time to explore the original score and just some.
Yay, score! Cool.
You'll be listening to
and radio stations.
Night City.
Score is main vessel of emotions in both movies and video games, and Cyberpunk.
Pribyslavitz, he did the Witcher soundtrack.
It actually took us a long time to find the right color of the music.
It did? It's synthwave, isn't it? I'm just...
as the actual look of the game itself.
Well, they have a lot of composers. So like 3 so far? Oh, crazy. So you got mod synth, you got electronic instruments. This is cool looking.
So one of the main ideas was to take the cyberpunk genre out of the 80s and give it a 90s flair. We took
90s flair.
Rave, IDM,
huh.
Industrial, and make them fit our...
So these guys know what cyberpunk comes from. Cyberpunk is a very 80s genre.
We decided that close to the 100% of our music would be purely electronic.
That's why we tried to stick to analog synths as much as possible, so it's got a warmth to it.
Nice. Analog.
I'm super proud of the team we've managed to gather for this project.
Look at that mod rack. That's beautiful. Isn't that beautiful? Look at that thing.
The aesthetic of the game. When I read the brief, I was like, oh, this is going to be great. I can be myself. I can make music, and it comes from an honest place.
I love the fact that the music in this game is so varied. So we have some tracks that are super dirty, super heavy, and then we have some tracks that are very beautiful and ambient. I'm using all kinds of different effects. So it's been great to be able to experiment with the sound and the style.
Electric cello. I'm looking forward to seeing how that pans out. And look at that massive analog mixer. Cool. Don't get a lot of analog mixing these days.
Doing any drum tracking for a video game. It's been really exciting. It's been a lot of fun.
It's all about making you feel like a perfect killing machine, because that's what you are basically.
Well, I can do that all day long. So you'll just have to tell me what you like, and what you don't like.
Cool. Okay. It's not going to sound like one thing, depending on what part of the city you're in.
We basically
cool.
Every quest pretty much with custom assets created specifically for that quest.
We ended up having over 7.5 hours of music in Cyberpunk.
Working on Cyberpunk.
7.5 hours of soundtrack? Ooh, Erica.
I can seriously say that I've never worked with such a bunch of mad people in my life, and mad brilliant.
I mean, just the techno aspects of it sounds so cool.
That we use comes out of boutique shops, or they're vintage synthesizers like this Polyvox.
Yeah, I've actually seen videos. That's a Soviet synth, like they said earlier. I for some reason I don't really make music, but I follow like music making communities on YouTube.
Pays off with satisfying and enjoyable listening and gaming experience.
Hello, Night City. What's shaking, Night City? Good morning, Night City.
Radio. So if you don't know, I work at a radio station.
Love a mother who popped you out on the steps of an orphanage once, and now stops you to ask if you got a smoke for her. And now, a shout out to all the lowlifes over at the Atlantis. Ladies and gents, here's that all-time classic.
1019 The Dirge.
Soundtrack is one of the key elements.
This Run the Jewel song is pretty damn good.
World. We've invited artists from around the world, incredible talents, incredible musicians, to write and produce songs.
Nina Kravitz.
For this project.
The soundtrack for Cyberpunk is insane. So the soundtrack being all the songs.
So there's a score and there's a sound. Score and soundtrack. That's really awesome.
Got over 150 custom genre-bending tracks, all waiting for you to discover.
150?
I want to be a part of Cyberpunk is, well, basically I know The Witcher is super sick, and then I actually got to play a preview of the game.
Grimes is so weird.
I've always wanted to do something connected to a video game, so I was pretty excited when this came in, and it was like an instant yes.
I kind of imagining what it would be like being a character in that game. The person that's a musician in this world and this time has grew up in that space.
This isn't just some fun shit, there's also an intellectual and spiritual history to this
It's
world.
not just some fun shit.
You know, we want to provide you with the soundtrack to fucking shit up. Like,
part of that. The Run the Jewel song is really good. The stuff that they've showed, the soundtrack that they've shown so far has been really good. Like great punk.
From our composers, we're going to be releasing a special 6-track Cyberpunk 2077 EP featuring tracks from the game's original score onto streaming services for you to enjoy for free, and they'll be live
When?
at the end of this episode.
Right now!
Listen later. In addition,
Might have to
if
check
you're
that out.
planning on live streaming Cyberpunk, or if you just want to make videos, we want to introduce you to a new mode that will allow you to disable certain copyrighted tracks. We know that for content creators, licensed music can
Yeah.
sometimes be problematic.
Sometimes, all the times.
You'll be able to disable a small number of selected tracks which could cause some issues, replacing them with a different song, helping to avoid any problems. If you're going to be live streaming from console, this will start automatically, but you can toggle it on and off in the options as needed. And for PC players, you'll be able to turn it on and off in the game options. Don't forget, as with all episodes of Night City Wire, if you're tuning in...
Okay, that's cool. I mean, yeah, copyright's super broken. Pretty much everyone that's on the internet is aware of that.
Launches, it will have VO in 10 different languages. So we're going to take a closer look at the Jolly technology, which is ensuring each and every one is as authentic as possible.
So hi, my name is Sarah Watling. I am the CEO of Jolly Research in Toronto, Ontario. In this video, we're going to show you a little bit about Jolly, the software.
So this stuff is really cool. I highly suggest you pay attention, because this looks. I've watched a lot.
Rayfield's mine.
Jolly is a suite of tools and a suite of services that result in what we think is the coolest and best and highest quality facial performance on characters.
Oh, is that supposed to sound familiar?
It's automatically generated on a face based on audio dialogue, audio speech from a voice actor.
Slow, deep breath.
Yeah, that's really cool.
Cortisol and adrenaline spiked, but the soft activated your hormone blockers. Nothing happened. You're alive and well.
What Jolly tries to do is it tries to get to the root of what is being expressed in the vocal performance and put that on a 3D character.
That's Rogue. Best fixer in all of Night City.
There is just an incredible amount of performance in this game.
Sure.
A procedural solution allows you to animate over and over and over again at tremendous scale. Jolly is what powers every single character in the game of Cyberpunk 2077 in all of the languages that the...
Yeah, it's in 10 languages, which is... That's really crazy, you know?
All you're doing is changing an attribute. For example, speech style. If you wanted your character to shout instead of mumble...
Basically, they figured out a way so that it animates like lips and mouth and chin and head and eyebrows and like upper here and like... Yeah, like there's like tons of all these different
You walk. You breathe.
If the lip sync is right, you don't notice. If the faces match and match the performance, you don't notice because you're too busy paying attention to how awesome the game is, how much you care about these characters, how what you're gonna do, and that's what we want. That to me is that's the sizzle.
Don't you know you owe the sheriff a word when you pay his town a visit? To tell him what's brought you here. Maybe even over a cup of coffee.
Yeah, it looks really cool. I think this is one of the areas that video games have a lot of room to improve. I think it looks good, doesn't look great, but I don't think any other game looks better than it, so, you know.
Every copy of the game comes with digital downloadable goodies such as the art book, the original score, and a digital comic, all from the Cyberpunk universe. But there's more. You can also claim in-game items for Cyberpunk 2077. For example, you could be rocking the Wolf School jacket for simply connecting the game to your GOG account. And if you have other CD Projekt Red games, such as The Witcher or Gwent, you can get even more.
That's kind of cool.
Both ways. If you connect the game to your GOG account, you can also unlock special in-game items.
I don't...
Game, such as the samurai-inspired card and coin back, and the breathtaking title. Now, this new My Reward program is for everybody, No matter which platform you're playing Cyberpunk on,
Okay.
you'll be able to get your digital goodies and in-game items.
That's kind of cool. I mean, you know, they're just cosmetics.
Coming in the future, and we'll have more information on my rewards soon. As always, don't forget that if you've missed anything or if you just want to watch again, we will be uploading everything to our channels soon. So before we take a look at that new gameplay trailer, we just want to reveal that a number of games media from all over the world have been playing Cyberpunk 2077, and you'll be able to read their latest impressions when this episode...
Yeah, I saw that it was like some 16 hours or something that they let them play.
So now, let's wrap up this...
Which is kind of a lot, actually.
Take a look at that brand new gameplay trailer.
They got a lock on us. Engine's been hit.
Get us out of here.
I'm losing control.
Whoa, that was intense, dude. Yeah, this Chinatown stuff looks awesome.
We dedicate ourselves to telling immersive stories. Yet with every new project, we set out to make our games bigger, more
swimming,
complex, deeply engaging.
Come on, V. Let's get you home.
Whoa, Pris reference from Blade Runner right there. She looks exactly like Pris. Okay.
Story-changing player choices and robust character development, all to bring you into
Whoa, I can look as freaky as I want. That's cool. I mean, we've all known that.
You either burn alive in it, or you never existed at all.
The year is 2077.
I didn't know that.
A crisis culminating in nuclear conflict has left America in pieces. With most of the continent degenerating into lawless war zones, people from all over have converged on the already overcrowded Night City, one of the world's last great megalopolises. A hub amassing the best in resources and know-how, and home to manufacturers of cutting-edge technologies, Night City continues to offer the promise of a civilized future.
What? No, this isn't happening.
Oh, but it is.
But in the city streets, a merciless struggle for power rages. Gangs, corporate agents, hustlers, religious cultists, politicians, and all manner of criminals strive to outplay one another. Ordinary people get caught in the crossfire.
Whoa.
For justice. In Night City, I seek revenge. Much more feasible here.
Yeah, I mean,
world consumed by never-ending conflict.
This is probably recorded on PC, so it looks great. It looks great.
That tells me you have answers for us.
Look at those reflections and stuff.
And that's you, an urban mercenary, a cyber-enhanced gun for hire.
You seem to understand each other. Take this, too.
As a mercenary, you swear no allegiance. You've chosen the outlaw life and trust that your abilities will carry you up Night City's ruthless, underground social
That guy gives me the heebie-jeebies every time I see him. He's so freaky looking.
To thrive as a merc, you need the right combination of gear, skills, and reputation.
Dex had a load to say about you. I hope he wasn't overselling.
With the money you earn, you can turn yourself into a living weapon, buying guns and enhancements in the hundreds.
That's cool.
As
Oh.
on the city streets, you gain the experience you need.
Oh, this is on console. These.
Acquire perks. Combine the right skills and gear to create a gunslinger with inhuman reflexes.
Whoa, blasting. Whoa, there's robots. Yeah, of course there's robots.
Tech.
Yeah, I want to see how hacking is done.
Anyone in between.
Holy shit.
In Cyberpunk 2077, you steal a prototype biochip that can set you up for life.
Being filthy rich.
When its sealed container is ruptured, the only way to prevent the biochip from failing is to slot it into your head. It turns out it contains the digitized soul of Johnny Silverhand, a dead rocker boy with violence on his mind.
You mean to say there's an actual terrorist in my head right now?
He's out for revenge. Aims to bring down the megacorp that made the chip.
Do whatever it takes to stop him, defeat him, gut him.
What is in your head can shift the balance.
So the chip is made by Arasaka, so it seems like those are going to be the bad, like the final bad guys. Because we really haven't learned much about them.
Told you I'd end you someday.
choices you make will shape your story and determine how events unfold.
V, you gotta take him down. That's why we're here.
But not everything in Night City is a matter of life and death. Sometimes it's about style, choosing your look, your vision, your pastime, who's at your side. Choosing how you spend your dirty money.
Cars! Sex! Drugs! Drinking!
Welcome to the next generation of open world adventure. Immerse yourself in Cyberpunk 2077.
That was a cool frame. Cool. That looks really cool. Well, that looks like the whole dealio. So, well, that was very cool. That was really interesting. I don't have a lot I want to go back and look at. I mean, the soundtrack stuff is really cool. I think the big news there is the 150 and that EP that came out today. I don't have time to check that out in this video because this was pretty long. But this is really cool. I'm excited for the radio. You know, I love me some good radio. And yeah, let's just hope they can release it. The recent stuff that they did one special little like Night City Wire special thing about stuff on console, and it looks like they got it running on console. That was the issue why they had to delay it. It looks really cool. I'm very excited, and they have told us, they used to be telling us that they were only telling us information about the prologue to the game, so that everything we've learned in that trailer about you know, getting Johnny Silverhand's chip and putting that in, then he's in your brain, that's all prologue content. The game's story doesn't start until after you do that. Apparently, this is, you know, this is what we've learned. So I think it is going to be real fun. It looks really interesting. We'll see. I'm not going to pre-order it, but I will probably buy it on day one. I mean, I've been waiting for this game forever, so you know. That's about it for me. You know, if you enjoyed this video, hit like and make sure you subscribe, and let me know what you think about this. Think about my reaction, think about the Night City Wire, think about Cyberpunk as a whole. I'll be checking the comments for this video, so hit me up. All right, peace.